Well, good afternoon, North Texas. Good afternoon, everybody, wherever you're listening from to today's episode of Let Freedom Ring. We're starting way late. The internet was out. Technology is a blessing and a curse. I'll keep it short today. I've got uh, a good friend of mine, a guest we've had on multiple times, Mr. James Matlock, who ran for railroad commissioner in the prior election. Uh, Against several opponents, many of them big money interests. We spent a while discussing beforehand, and I'm just going to let you roll with this for whatever we've got left. If you want to come on again, soon we'll make the time for you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you having me on today, Jake.
Yes, sir.
Always a pleasure to be on your show. And, I came up to talk about what's going on in Johnson County with the emergency status for the forever chemicals, the farms being destroyed, things like that. I'm now director of Clean Act Remediation and Environmental Solutions of Texas, CARES of Texas. Um, we're working with several companies, primarily out of the Permian, to mitigate these forever chemicals. We can work with the municipalities to uh, clean up their sewer system, their wastewater treatment facilities, uh, you know, create a number of things out of that. But more importantly, we do reduce or eliminate the forever chemicals. You can go to any city wastewater facility and you'll find pharmaceutical residue coming out that they're discharging. The chemicals that they use to treat the water, it does not take care of it the way the microbial enzymes that we partnered with do. And you can look at Colorado City for an example. Back several years ago, before I got involved with this company, uh, Colorado City was being bombarded by TCEQ. They were at 90 something percent solids in their clarifier. They called and they started putting these microbes in the sewer system, 5 gallons a month, 14 months. By the end of 14 months, they had 4% solids and they didn't have any pharmaceutical residue coming out of the backside being dumped into the Colorado River. And, I know Dallas County, places like that, Fort Worth, a lot of that goes into the Trinity, which makes its way all the way down to the Gulf Coast.
Hmm.
And there's a host of other communities, dumping in the same. And, so our water table, our waterways are being polluted. And I know a lot of people want to say it's oil and gas doing the pollution, but the truth of the matter is you have the city wastewater and landfills. That is your number one pollutants for water streams. And, we can remedy a lot of that. Uh, you know, my campaign last cycle, I mentioned a lot of it. We need to clean up our water streams. We need to
Yeah.
secure more available water source. And, we can make that happen. And, if there's any farmers that whose farm has been affected by this, definitely like for them to reach out to me, whether phone call, email, whatever. Be glad to come out, take soil samples, take a small block and let them see what we can do. And then, like we were talking earlier, county officials, TCEQ, their answer is always dig and haul. Just rip it up, dig it up, haul the soil away. Contaminated soil is going to end up in your landfill.
Hmm.
We're not really mitigating the problem. We're just relocating the problem.
Yeah.
And, so we can actually mitigate it there on site. And, we're trying to make Texas a little bit cleaner in the long run.
And it we had discussed this in the intermittent power outage. It definitely saves money. It saves resources for those farmers,
Yes,
especially if you are dependent on ranching or agriculture for your life. Um, Digging it up and taking it away takes time away from growing the crops, from having food for your livestock.
correct. And I've heard that there's potential lawsuits involved, so you may get a stay on your ag exemption while the lawsuit's pending.
Yeah,
But for the farmers who own a lot of land, they depend on those ag exemptions to keep their property taxes affordable. And they provide a service to all Texans, whether it's food or crops or whatever. They provide a service. And we've got to protect that avenue as well. Plus, if you let them come in, dig up the topsoil, it's going to take years to rebuild and get a good crop growth to where you had it prior to this.
yeah,
And the municipal wastewater for irrigation purposes, fertilizer, it's a good idea and concept, but we have to use the biologicals in order to make sure what we're doing is clean and safe and works for everybody involved.
something that doesn't harm people in the long run with these chemicals, or you've got these biocontaminants harming your livestock.
Yes.
So let me ask you, with the time that we've got left briefly, we'll have you on again. I'm going to give you the all the time that you need.
Okay.
Um, Tell us a little bit about the company, and if you would like to today, put your information out there. I know there's a lot of folks with issues here in Johnson County with these biochemicals and stuff like that in their properties. That way, they have a resource that they can go to, or they have the knowledge of what to look into.
Okay. Absolutely. Our organization is a nonprofit, and we're trying to get in to work with the communities, work with the local farmers, work within the oil and gas industry. You know, uh, and we're looking at landfills, wastewater treatment, uh, any of those things to make biogas, generate electricity, stuff like that from, and just repurpose your waste. And then once we generate all this, then it goes into fertilizer or irrigation purposes. And anybody can reach me at my phone number is 936 320 3031, and my email is james.matlock at cares, CARESTX.org. You can reach out to me at any one of those.
Wonderful. Um, like I said, we started a lot later than we usually do. I figured we could essentially put this out before we got the time back for a future episode on this, which is something that I think is really necessary. There's a lot of folks in the county who have been facing these forever chemicals, and a lot of them don't have the time, the money to put into reclaiming their own land.
Yes,
And this would be a great resource for them.
yes,
This would be something that would be able to help them provide the service necessary, making it a lot faster for them to get back to their lives.
yes. In most cases, once we treat the property, we may come in and till it up, disc it up or something. But once we treat it, anywhere from 30 days, maybe 120 days, depending on the level of contamination and depths, your property will come back stronger. Your crops will be better than ever before. Using this technique, not for cleanup, but just as a fertilizer, even. They did a test with Texas Tech, and they ended up getting, I want to say, 200% more produce using our microbes just as a fertilizer alone. So,
Wow. And it's all natural. It's nothing that these folks could be worried about.
no,
It's
there's no chemicals. It's all
wonderful.
natural. Uh, you know, when God created Earth, He gave us everything we need to be self contained, and this is part of it.
Marvelous. And I think this is something that folks in this county would find useful because, and I never thought I would see the day myself when we started having chemicals brought up in our local farmland and even just homeowners, and having it become an issue for our state house. I think that is something. This is a resource that would be valuable to people,
Yes.
not just here, but in places that have been known to have uh, dumping, chemical dumping, those sorts of things. So, in the last 3 minutes, I'm going to pass it over to you. Uh, Tell the viewers a little bit about yourself. What is your expertise?
Well, I served in the Marine Corps, and after I got out of the Marine Corps, started driving trucks, then got involved in oil and gas, worked my way into management. The last 7 years have been in primarily independent consultant phase, and I'm a disabled veteran. Um, you know, eh, During the consulting uh, venture, it has had me working with the Railroad Commission, trying to get new companies in to do things. And every company I've talked to, even during my campaign, that I didn't know prior, one of the big things is we do things this way because that's the way it's always been done, or we can endorse your business or your product.
Yeah.
And it's time to change that mindset. There's a lot of things out there, a lot of ways we can make things better, make things cleaner. I know a lot of people like to talk about an energy transition. We're not transitioning. Fact is, Texas and the rest of the world has a deep thirst for energy.
Hmm.
It is our job to quench that thirst as clean, efficient, and affordable as possible. And that's our mission with the Cares of Texas.
So James is somebody that I have known for almost a year and a half now. He ran as for the Railroad Commission here in the prior election, one of the biggest, most spent on elections in probably Texas history. Um, James has a history of not only serving his country but wanting to put that use into finding ways to solve problems for our citizens, and I think that's something that's very respectable about him. So we're gonna have James on again. Started very late today, and I hate that we did. But if you're more than willing to come in again soon,
Yes,
give us a full overview of everything. I'd love to have you on.
I, I'll definitely be back.
S- So, for those of you out there who had to get through the cold weather, it's going to warm up again pretty soon. Global warming is going to do its job. But stick with us. We're praying for this country, for the state, because these issues do matter to our citizens. And when one of us is harmed by, especially environmental toxins, all of us are. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. May the blood of Christ wash over this government. We desperately need it.